Hey there, gang, and welcome to the Locker Room, another special series of messages that are dedicated to B. Rapoport and his memory. And I have with me here today Jeremy Welch, who is a part of our great company. And, you know, you're probably looking at him right now saying, well, how the heck could he know Rapoport? He looks 21 years old. Yeah, Jeremy didn't get to spend any real time with Mr. Rapoport. But what you're going to hear from is a young man who's been infected by his spirit, through the spirit and lives of so many of us who knew Mr. Rapoport. And I wanted him to be in this locker room to share with you some of what he just shared with a bunch of us here in Cabo San Lucas. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Jeremy, right now to share what it was you shared with us today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you're definitely right. I only had an opportunity to meet Mr. Rapoport twice, but you know, he's had an impact on so many people in my life that are impacted me. And the story that I shared today was the allegory of the long spoons. And it was something I came across the other day. And really the story is basically that, you know, the rabbi, he used to go from town to town, you know, preaching.
Right.
And he always started his sermon with this allegory. And basically, he just said that he went to both heaven and hell. And he talked about the difference between, you know, what he saw in heaven and what he saw in hell. And he said that he went to hell first, and he noticed that there were long tables full of food, but everybody there was pale and they were emaciated. And the reason was because that they had their arms were splinted with wood, so they couldn't put the spoon to their mouth to feed themselves. And he said, well, he visited heaven and he noticed the same situation. Long tables full of food, but people were satisfied. They were able to eat. And he noticed the difference was that even though they also had their arms splinted, they were feeding the person across from them. And so in turn, they thanked them for the kindness, and they fed the other person as well. So you know, that's kind of really the spirit of what we're talking about here.
And Jeremy, that is what we're talking about, because Mr. Rapoport's legacy is that he was a giver.
Right.
That he always pursued wealth, not for his own personal gain, but to help others and to make the world better.
Absolutely.
That is awesome, Jeremy. Thank you for sharing that. And all of you in the locker room, you had the privilege to hear from him. Is there anything else, because you shared quite a few, you really rocked us in there, Jeremy, that you want to say to those out in the locker room, how they can live a life like what you're living?
Well, the biggest thing is just to be a giver and to always give back. And that's one of the reasons that I feel like I've been successful is I just try to help other people get to where I'm at and even exceed that. So thank you for sharing this opportunity.
Thank you for being here in the locker room. And to all of you out there, enjoy what you just heard. Take it all the way to heaven. Thanks, Jeremy, for being here.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed and feel that the Daily Locker Room has served as an inspiration in your life, why not take this moment and do the same for a friend by sending them the daily message?